Testing.
Testing.
Hello.
How low can my voice go?
How low can you go? Can you go down low?
Pretty low.
Oh,
Pretty low. Cool.
Hey, look
All
at
right.
that. Let's see how that sounded.
Okay.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Madeline.
We're back.
We are. So we're recording this the Saturday before it's coming out, and loyal listeners will know that I was sick all week, and I thought I would be better by now to be able to do this in person, but I'm still sick, and I'm over it.
I'm over it too. I'm sorry.
No, it's just we had this whole plan, like we were going to record all these, and then, but here's what I'll say. Life comes at you fast.
I was like, what are you going to say?
She didn't have a plan, folks.
It's all right. Yes, well, we are so excited to dive into all of your questions. For those who don't know what this episode is or didn't, that's fine. We're going to answer some user-submitted questions.
Yeah, we did get a question that said, what is a mailbag?
Yeah, which, you know what? Let's answer it. A mailbag is where we answer your questions.
Okay. Good start. Solid.
Yeah. Great.
Solid. Sick.
Okay, should we get into it?
Yeah.
Great. First question. How did we meet?
This is so cute. I love this one.
Me too. So for those who don't know, I have a Substack called Impersonal Foul that I started in December of 2020. Wow. 5 years ago. Crazy.
It's a long time ago now.
It's a long time to be sending newsletters, I will say.
Yeah. Are you tired?
Honestly, yeah, I'm actually working on like a 5-year post about the newsletter. And I was like, I have sent so many newsletters about nonsense in sports. Like so many.
It's a feat.
It's a feat. Yes. Still sending them. So subscribe to the wilder things.
They're so good. They're so good.
Oh, so are yours. Please. But anyways, last year I did a roundup of the best pieces of NBA gossip. And I think I had followed you on Twitter like
2 years ago.
Oh, was that 2 years ago now?
Wait.
A year ago? No, wasn't it last?
Wait.
No, it was last year. Last May. It would have been last May.
Is it 2025?
Yeah, it was in 2024.
Okay, so not the May of 2025, but the May of 2024.
No. 2024. Last year. Yeah, last year.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, so last May, 2024 May, not 2025 May. Not the upcoming May.
No, not 2026 May.
No. I reached out to Charlotte on Twitter, I think, asking if she would write a blurb about her favorite piece of NBA gossip that year. And I think we had followed each other on Twitter like, I don't know, a couple months before that, but we had never met in person.
No, I did. You came across my radar because our dear friend Hunter Harris, you guys did a collab newsletter together.
Yes.
And I was like, who is this genius? I was like,
oh, hush.
Sports gossip. No, truly. I was like, wait, this is like what I haven't had the words to explain what I've like focused on my whole career. And it was, it's like culture and fandom, but also like I used to call it the fringes of sports. And here is this woman who has a Substack about sports gossip. Like, yes, that's all I care about in the world. And
it's all that matters.
I think we followed each other, and I was like, where did you come from?
I came from the World Wide Web.
You sure did.
But yeah, so then after Charlotte wrote that very kindly, we got on a 2-hour phone call. And in the middle of it, I had been telling her, I was like, I kind of want to turn this into a podcast, but like I hadn't worked in sports. I worked in entertainment. And like, I didn't have the connections that Charlotte had being a sports journalist for so long. And so we were talking, and then I think you just kind of were like, can I do it with you? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, because you were like, if you can think of anyone who would be a good co-host, you were like, I've considered doing it by myself, but I don't know. And I was like, I was sitting exactly where I'm sitting right now. And because we were like, we need to get on the phone because the workflow that we had for that silly little blurb that I wrote was so buttoned up
It
and
was crisp.
professional. Yeah, to the where you're like, I loved what you were doing, but we were also it was clearly two people who care a lot and like being on top of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and when you said that, I was like, well, what about me? Like,
Yeah.
I want to do that. And you were like, what? You were like, do you have time? Because at the time, I think I was doing like 4 different shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was at Meadowlark Media, and I was like, no, but I will make time, because if I saw anybody else doing this, I would be heartbroken. I was
Yeah.
like, this is it. This is
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah. And I think very quickly, like that call, we were both just like, okay. And there wasn't
Yeah.
really a follow-up discussion about like, are we sure this is going to work? We just kind of trusted our intuition that it would work out, and it did. Like, I think we opened at S Corp like 2 months later, and I hadn't even did we
No,
open
it's
it
really
remotely, or did we do that in person? I think we did.
Yeah, we did. We opened
Like,
it remotely.
yeah.
So, because you were in England and then you were in LA, and then we didn't meet until 6 months into this,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like,
So crazy.
but I think, and I think we've said this before, but it bears repeating, that like a project like this, we started as business partners, more so than friends, and then we've become dear friends. But I think it's honestly, and minus the romantic aspect of a marriage, like starting a business with someone is a marriage of
Yeah.
a kind.
Yeah.
And I think it was very much a like, when you know that it's the right thing. Like I never felt that kind of "Ooh, oh God," like what it was I think we were both very honest and upfront from the beginning about like how we wanted to work, and that we weren't interested in any kind of drama. Like
No.
that was not what we were and it's all and we've developed a relationship where we can literally say anything to each other.
Yeah.
You know, we're not saying like hurtful things, because we don't think hurtful things, but it's
No.
like we have such good communication because we're not afraid of like, oh, if I say we should cut this, is Madeline going to be mad? It's
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. I think we also had really clear expectations of each other in the working relationship from the jump, which I think helped a lot. And I actually think not being friends and not knowing each other helped set up more honesty from the jump than being
Truly.
friends or having like known each other even peripherally in person before. Because it's like I
Yes.
didn't know you, so not like a in a way of like I'm not afraid to hurt your feelings, but it's more like because I straight up didn't know you, it was like, well, I'm just gonna say like how I feel, and not in a
Yeah.
nasty way or anything, but just I think that helped a lot and kind of was almost an icebreaker in a lot of ways.
1000%. There were no pre-existing dynamics, or any kind of weirdness around, I don't know, because friendships are less straightforward than working relationships, and
Yeah.
I think that's why like a lot of my best friends, except for the people that I met when I was 5 years old, have all come from working.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like you meet on a level where you're like, I see what you're trying to do, I see what I'm trying to do, and like you're also really in the trenches together.
Oh yeah. You were in it. You're in it. But yeah, and then fun fact, Charlotte and I didn't meet in person until September of last year. So, which is also
Crazy.
absurd. Like we moved to New York and then we met for coffee at a place that will not be named. and yeah, that was it.
Can
And the
I
rest is
say
history.
something?
What?
We have mentioned a place that shall not be named that we have a love-hate relationship with,
Yeah.
because of the prices, and also just like you can't quit it. It's kind of like a bad boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where you're like,
Always
this
going
isn't
back.
necessarily, yeah, this isn't good for me or my wallet, but like
No.
I'm never gonna, which if you're gonna have any toxic relationship in your life, it might as well be with a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And a woman stopped Madeline on the street
Yes.
to ask her what the coffee shop that we were talking about was, and we will never tell.
We will never tell. And if you're listening, I'm sorry, I'm still not going to tell you. if you're listening to this episode.
But I respect the hustle.
Respect the hustle. So
Yeah.
that's that. That's our villain origin story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could talk about this forever because I think it also dovetails. I mean, we have a few questions in here about like sports media and advice and I think finding the right person to do something with is and I feel super lucky because I was a little bit lost before we started doing this in terms of like I wasn't sure like what I knew that there was something that I was supposed to be doing, but like I wasn't there yet. And
Yeah.
so I think there's like an element of luck to it also, but it's kind of just like taking a flyer.
Yeah, and I will also say, like, it takes certain type of people to, 1, do something with someone you don't know, but 2, starting something from scratch by yourself. Like, we did not have any support launching the show, and we're still 2 people doing this with our lovely, editor, Micah, and our, obviously, team at The Athletic, but it's still, like, a
Day to
small
day.
day to day, it's still
Yeah.
us mostly, grinding it out, coming up with what we want to talk about, all of that. But to be able to like commit to something and stick with it is hard. It's when you're doing it by
Yeah.
yourself, especially a podcast. Like we were editing it ourselves at the beginning, like uploading to YouTube. Charlotte was writing descriptions. We were sending newsletters. I was cutting social clips, and we're still doing a lot of those things.
We're
And it's a lot. It's a lot. So to be able to find someone
Yeah.
that you can be so embedded with day to day and like constantly in communication to do this thing that you believe in, like it takes a certain type of personality, I will say, to do it.
It does, and it also takes a lack of like you have to be willing to leave your ego out of it. Like you really
Yes.
do. You have to realize, and I think about this when it comes to this mailbag is just going to turn into like our
The state of
thoughts
media.
on sports media. Honestly, maybe it should. Maybe we should just
Yeah.
roll with this.
Yeah.
Because I think that it you have to be at a point in your life where you understand that the parts are never going to be as great as the whole. Like
Mhm.
you and I bring different things to this show and we are you have to be able to like realize that you're in it as a team. This is not an individual thing. Obviously, you and I are individual people and we have our own individual things going on outside of it, but like when it comes to doing this show together, like I think something that we've been really good at is we don't take criticism personally, or we're not out here trying to fight to be like, well, I'm the one who came up with that. It's like it's a we across the board for something like this. And I think about with the best sports teams, that's what they have. And things fall apart when people's own egos, and I'm not saying that you're not your own person, but when your ego gets in the way of the common goal, it's like you're screwed.
Yeah. It's like we have the same North Star. Our North Star is like building a sports gossip empire. And that, like, our vision is always directed towards that. Everything we do is directed towards that. And so it makes it a lot easier to take your own ego out of it because you're like, well, is this serving the best interests of our little Wilder Hill Media universe?
Yes. We should, oh God, my dream would be to give like coaching, like TED, like corporate TED Talks.
Yes. Companies, if you're listening.
Like invite us. Yeah, TED Talk if you're listening. Like companies, if you're listening, have us at your management summit.
Oh, I would love that.
Anyway.
Okay, let's do a couple like questions and we'll go back. We're going to have more sports media discussion. So
great.
Little quick question here. Someone asked, is Charlotte tempted to get a bob yet?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. How could I not be? Like Madeline, your bob looks so good.
Oh, thanks.
There's also a don't F with me aspect to a bob that I love.
Yes.
That feels very powerful. I will admit to doing a lot of like holding my hair up and seeing how it looks. And I think I could do it. I think I'm not quite there yet. Just I don't know. I feel like sometimes longer hair looks better on me, but also like it won't once I do it. But
well,
everybody has to take their own journey to get to the bob.
Exactly. Well, and you're so good at blowing out your hair. Like, it looks so
Well,
good long. I am not. So I'm like, I don't wanna do that anymore. I don't even wanna pretend like I'm doing it. We need to I said this to you, but we need you to post a blow dry, like, blowout tutorial because your hair
maybe
looks so good when you blow it
stop
out.
it. Thank
It
you. Thank
does.
you. You
It
know what?
does.
I think here's another thing that let's pull back the curtain for a second. I do think, there's social media. I would love not to be on social media. Like I would love nothing more than to like not have an Instagram account and be that chic. But
Mhm.
I think unfortunately it might have to be the opposite where it's like we find little series we can do because like we're out here, we're slaves to
We're
the
grinding.
content. Like we're grinding. We're grinding.
Oh,
Um
man. Well, I
so
would love
yeah,
for you to
maybe
get
I'll
a
do
bod.
it. Okay. Well,
But
I'll do a
in the meantime,
blowout
yeah, blow up
tutorial
yes,
and then
yes.
I'll cut my hair off.
Yeah, there you go. That's your grand finale of the long hair, and then you're like, "And it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, goodbye.
Goodbye."
Um, okay.
Um,
Oh, this is a good one. Odds that Jordan Hudson will ever come on the pod.
hmm,
Low.
I think
Slim to
low.
none.
Never say
Slim to
never.
none.
Never say never, but I think pretty low. Low odds.
I also think, um, yeah.
I think low. Low. Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Leave
I
it at
think the
that.
odds are low. Yeah. Yeah.
Someone else asked, "Do you ever learn gossip that is too juicy to share?" All the time. All the time.
Mhm.
The things we have
Mhm.
learned that, oh, we would love to tell you is a
It's
lot. It
funny
happens often.
because when we started this show, I would say last December, we got an absolutely explosive tip from a listener who was in a smaller market of the NFL and really had some information that we thought seriously about, okay, do we try to report this out? Um and I think that that was actually kind of a huge moment for deciding what our show would be.
Yeah.
Um, because we were like, okay, we could report this out. And this wasn't to do with this was like a personal
Mhm.
story. It wasn't about the team, wasn't about a scandal involving ownership. If it had been any of those things, we would have looked into it. Like we would have tried to give you that information. But this was something where we were like, we know that this would blow up. We know that this would be all over everything if we reported it, but do we wanna, like, ruin this person's life? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It was almost like too tabloidy. Um that I think that you're right. It was like kind of a turning point. Like, yes, our show is gossip, but at the end of the day, our stories are to help explain what's going on in sports and media, and to put things into context better. And this story just felt like it was like I don't know, a reality show storyline in a way that kind of felt a little icky. And it's like, I
Yeah,
don't, it just felt icky. And we sometimes say that, like, there are things and we're like, that feels a little icky. I don't know if that's our show. And sometimes there's not really words you can put to it other than it's a little icky.
and I think part of what it comes down to is the power. I think power underlies every story we talk about in some way or another, or it's either power or it's tension or it's, like, just a fun, you
Mhm.
know fact about someone's personal life that feels good to talk about, or
Yeah.
that's a big enough scandal that's already out there that we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, this one, it was like, well, it's not really about like holding anybody accountable. It's just like
No,
meddling in
no.
somebody's life.
It was just like personal
Um,
life nonsense, basically. Yeah.
yeah, so we get a lot of those and you've heard some of them, like some of the tips that we've gotten have made it onto the show, obviously, but there's some things which is fun for us as someone who loves gossip.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry we're responsible,
Oh,
honestly,
I know.
because you guys would really really dig these but it's just kind of about, I think at the end of the day too, like, can we sleep at night? Like,
Mhm.
there are things that keep me up, honestly. Like, there are things that if I feel like I said something that I'm not sure about on the show, it will keep me up.
Yeah.
And that's when I'll text Madeline at 12 at night being like, "Is it okay that I said is this okay?" And
Yeah.
you'll be like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well,
It
our rule
is.
on the show is always, everything we say on the show, we're comfortable saying to someone's face. And that, like,
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the Jordan thing, I think that was one of the reasons that she called Charlotte was because everything we had said, like, we would feel comfortable saying to her face. And a lot of it we did repeat to, like, we repeated it to her when we spent 5 hours talking to her on the phone and FaceTime. So I do
Yeah.
think that's a through line of our show of feeling like everything we put in our show is like the criticisms we're giving are valid and we would say them to someone's face if they asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Totally. Totally. We
um,
should just call this mailbag, we should just call it the state of sports media in 2025,
yeah.
honestly.
An an essay, I don't an explainer.
My
I don't know.
column.
My column. There we go. Thank you. Speaking of sports media, someone asked, "What advice would you give to your younger selves or people who want a career in the sports slash new media industry?"
Man,
Hmm.
this is something that people have been asking me for as long as I've been doing this, which is sort of funny because I was like 27 and someone was like, "What advice would you get?" And I was like, "Buddy, I'm still trying to figure this out,"
Yeah.
which is kind of still my answer. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure this out. Like sometimes I'm shocked I'm still doing this. I take great pride in the fact that even though a lot of the time in this industry, I have wanted to bang my head, just felt like I've been banging my head against a wall. We're still here. We
Yeah.
are, and that counts for something. I think I would say that it has to be more of a compulsion than like, oh, this seems like a fun job. Like this
Mhm.
isn't glamorous and this isn't fun a lot. I mean, it's always fun because like I love what we're doing and I love this show and I love doing it with you. And even in the jobs that have been painful for me, like there has been something in it that when it's good, it's such a high that it's worth it. But it can't you can't do this if you're like, oh, I love sports and this would be a cool job to tell my friends that I have. Like you have to be writing stuff. If you want to be a writer, you have to be writing just like in a Google Doc because you can't not write. Like if you
Mhm.
want to be doing videos, you have to be just doing it. And I think that if you have that drive, then you can't let anyone say to you, "Oh, well, it's really hard." Like when I
Yeah.
said I wanted to be a writer, when I said I wanted to do this, everybody I knew was like, "That's really hard." And it's like, okay, well, that kind
Yeah.
of made me wanna do it more.
Right.
But that's not really advice, that's more of just, like, the baseline, and then the advice part is, like, you just have to say yes to stuff and, like, get your foot in the door however you can and make your own stuff, and if it's
Mhm.
good, like, you will find a way to keep going, and your career is also gonna shift over and over and over, and you have no idea what it's gonna look like in 5 years, but you just have to make the best decision you can with the information you
Mhm.
have.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. You gotta like be ready to put in the work and yeah, working in sports is not for the weak. I think my answer I would say I obviously came in a weird way. I didn't work in sports younger. I worked in media and entertainment. I ran social media accounts for brands and production companies and media companies. But I think the through line for me was always being curious and adapting and trying new things and not being afraid of rejection or someone saying no and not being afraid of being embarrassed. Like, I had blogs
Mhm,
online in middle school. Like, I was always
mhm.
constantly trying something new. I started making TikToks when I didn't really want to, but I knew I probably needed to. I started that Substack and was sending it to literally 20 or 30 people. I mean, no one was reading it for a long time. And I just kept doing it. And unfortunately, the reality in this current media market is like, you have to put in the work. Like, it is not gonna
Mhm,
be fun a lot of times, and a lot of times you're probably gonna be doing stuff for free and taking on other jobs that pay your bills. Like, I'm paying for my own bills, like, I don't have someone paying them for me, and I think just knowing that, like, how much work it takes, like, it can suck at times, and that's also
mhm,
okay, but I think just knowing, like, that you're doing something you really care about is what's important, but also knowing, like, it's gonna be challenging. So, it's not
yeah,
gonna be easy.
yes, 1000% agree, and I think that, um, at the end of the day, like, the worst day in this job is still better than the best day in any other career,
Yes, totally.
um, and if you feel that way, then great, keep doing it. I do think there's an aspect of, like, I'm kind of waiting for the day when we get put on, like, a breakout podcast stars or, like, up and
Mm,
coming podcast stars of 2027. And because everybody who ends up on a list like that has been doing this for like 15 years.
Yes.
Toiling
Yes.
away. You have a niche group of people who know who you are, but like you are like, there's no such thing as an overnight success. And I think that anytime it also just like don't believe everything you
Yeah.
see from everybody on
No.
the internet. And like you do have to sell yourself. But you can also tell when someone's selling themselves in a way where you're like, interesting.
Yeah. Interesting choice.
I don't know. That didn't really make sense.
No,
I'm
I
still
know what
kind
you
of
mean.
sick.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. The last thing I'll say on it is I do think being a young person out has so many challenges, of course. Like the job market is terrible. The economy is in the tanker. Media industry is falling apart. Like all of those things are true, but then at the same time, you have more opportunities now to create your own brand online. If let's say you want to be a writer, like you could start a Substack, you could start posting videos on TikTok that could go viral, and you could potentially spin off a career without ever even having to work in like a legacy media company. I mean, you may have to, but who knows what it can lead to? Whereas like even 10 years ago, like there just weren't as many online platforms to be able to amplify yourself if you didn't come from like connections. You're not a nepo baby, obviously. That I do think that there's so many more opportunities now online. You just got to be scrappy and willing to put in the work.
I also think like, I started my blog in 2009 and
Yeah.
I kind of thought of it as like a living resume.
Yes.
And to get another job. And I think something that does bum me out a little bit is like I learned so much about reporting from like doing local reporting at Boston.com. Like
Yeah.
from those editors. My editor, Roberto Scalisi, I will forever be indebted to him. He was incredible. He took me aside, I think I was like 25, and he said, you are going to be working in a magazine in New York someday. And no one had ever said that. No one had ever believed in me. That was my dream, but it felt like 1,000 years away. And like I would never get there. And so it is kind of a bummer. Like I knew when I had my blog that there was so much I didn't know. And so I guess another thing is like reach out to people who you admire, like who might be willing to serve as a mentor for you. And I wish that there was still a more robust editorial structure that people could come up in and learn from. And hopefully, I don't know how. I feel like I'm sort of stupidly optimistic sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it'll come back around.
Yeah. Well, it might.
Like it'll like
it might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You never know. And the last thing I'll say on this is just fake it till you make it. I almost dropped, I think I've told you this, Charlotte, but I almost dropped out of college to work for like a huge media publication running their social strategy when I was 19. And because I just faked
Did you
it.
really?
Yeah, I didn't lie on my resume, but I just didn't advertise the fact that I was in college.
Oh my
So I do think
God.
there's also some benefit when used strategically to fake it till you make it, because it can really help and help with rejection and just boosting your confidence when you're early in your career.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I'll say.
Okay, well, piggybacking off of this one.
Yes.
What do you hope will change in the sports media industry? I'm going to be honest, I read that and I feel like a little bubble of rage in my gut.
Yeah.
You put this great stat in here. What is this stat?
Yeah, a stat from USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative they put out in November said that women host just 18.9% of sports podcasts, which when I saw that stat online, I was like, yeah, that's unfortunate. That is a big bummer.
The anger for me comes in where the stat, women host 18.9% only of podcasts, not because women aren't good at hosting podcasts, not because women don't know as much as men, not because there are so many more male sports fans than female sports fans. The only reason that this number is below 20% is that women are not invested in the way that men are invested in sports media. They just aren't. If I were a man, not to quote Taylor Swift, it would the amount of times that I've thought about this. There is a whole group of men in media who look out for each other.
Yeah.
And like, look, there are also a bunch of women in me. Like, I wouldn't still be doing this if it weren't for the other women in sports media who supported me. But at the end of the day, like, men are much more likely to have money invested in their shows when they're young, to have higher salaries for writing, to have more opportunity to go on other shows and be amplified as a guest on those things. Like,
Mhm.
all of these things add up to the point where it can feel like you're wading through molasses doing this. Not, I mean, and you know, not just women, like people of color too. Like, there is a real inclusion problem still in sports media.
Mhm.
And I think I the behind the scenes investment is so important, because you can't grow something from nothing, and it is very, very hard to break through in this business if you don't have that muscle behind you. And
Mhm.
so I think that I would love to see more women have that backing, and have that investment, and have those structures around them, and be invited onto other shows in a way that gets them in front of more people, because that's why a lot of guys are able to succeed in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, everything you said, I 1000% agree with. I think it's even more frustrating when you're in it and you have a sports podcast hosted by two women like we do. And you look at these lists and awards that come out, that when they have a sports category, they are almost always nearly 100% male hosted podcasts. When you look at the top 100, top 200 sports podcasts on Apple, you scroll, you see like 5 women, like, and maybe a few more, but that's about it. And then when you see who these podcasts that are hosted by men bring on their show, it's almost always their friends or people like other men. And so it's just frustrating. It's not to say like they don't have women on their shows as guests, and it's not that. It's a larger problem in the sports media space
Yeah.
that to have more representation in sports, these media companies with money need to put resources behind female sports anchors, writers, creators to be able to amplify their content and their voices, because unfortunately, the only way to get ahead is to have resources behind you to be able to make your thing blow up. It's just the reality, to
Yeah.
be able to compete with some of these larger podcasts that get more eyeballs and funding, that are typically hosted by men. It's just the
Yeah.
reality of the situation.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And yeah, I like when we Awful Announcing put us on their list of I was shocked.
yeah,
I was shocked.
same.
I would First of all, thank you guys.
Thank you. Yes.
Um, you know, and that to me, because so much of this stuff is also PR, and also like awards, and just having the team to amplify your show. A lot of it's not necessarily a merit-based industry. Like, I think I'm really proud of this show and us, because it's kind of risen by itself, but also like it's a long way from where we want it to be,
Totally. Yeah.
in terms of what our dream is for it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I really hope that I think it's hard too, because in the political climate we're in, it feels like it is okay to, like, there was a moment in time 6 or 7 years ago where it was like, yes, we should lift women up and invest in them. And now it's like kind of okay to just be like, well, we tried and
Yeah.
they didn't get that far.
Yeah.
So it's easy to feel a little pessimistic, but I do hope that there's a reason to be optimistic, I think,
Yeah.
is how I would put it.
Yeah, and I think I would also just say I hope that the sports media industry as a whole moves away from the narrative around like, well, you're just lucky to be here. Like you
Mhm.
should be lucky to be here, that you even are given a chance and that people are listening to your show or whatever viewing your Instagram content. You're just lucky to be here. It's like that shouldn't be the top end of your goals with like building something in sports if you're from an underrepresented background. It shouldn't be like, well, you're just
Right.
lucky to be here. It's like, oh
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that's it. That's your career. You're done. you know?
And I think too, right, it's also like, to me, a lot of this is companies wouldn't be putting money behind, you know, women hosted shows because it's the right thing to do. There's actually money in it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
there's money in it. And it's also the same thing with women's sports where media, like, if you don't invest in showing it, people aren't gonna see it, and when you do, it explodes, like we're seeing
Mhm.
with women's basketball. Women's tennis is so wildly popular because it has been
Yeah.
on television, and if you see it, it's more likely to generate eyeballs and money, and, there are whole untapped groups of people, who care about sports, so,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe we're it's
We know
It's
too
something
much.
we think a lot about. It's
Yeah.
something we
I
think a
think
lot about.
yeah, I do think, like, there has progress has been made. The fact that, like, we're part of The Athletic and they
Yep.
believe in a show about sports gossip, obviously hosted by 2 women, like, amazing. I do think there's a long way to go, but I do hope and am hopeful just based on looking at the sports media landscape, looking at endorsement deals, brands
Mhm.
becoming sponsors of women's sports leagues, that it's only going to go up. I remember, I think I've told you this story, Charlotte, but I was at a party like 8 months ago and I was talking to this woman who she was like a consultant, business consultant, worked at all these cool places. And I was telling her about the show and my Substack. And she was like, I feel like you and your co host are like 2, 3 years ahead of where the sports media industry will be. And they just haven't caught up yet, which I do think is true, not only about our show, but I do think about amplifying and putting money and resources behind underrepresented creators and writers and hosts in sports. That
Yeah.
it's like it's gonna get there eventually. I think it's like it's just frustrating to see.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess that's a great point. Like, we wouldn't be this show and, the 2 of us doing it would not be at The Athletic probably 5 years ago.
No, probably not.
Um,
No.
so and, it takes people with vision there to be like, "Yeah, this is something that we wanna invest in."
Yeah.
I also think a piece of advice is, like, also, if you really do believe in the thing that you're making and you can objectively tell that it's good, like, be say that.
Yeah, say
Tell
it.
people no
Yeah.
one is gonna advocate for you the way you're gonna advocate for you, and it
Exactly.
might feel uncomfortable at first, but, like, the more you practice it, um, the easier it gets to be like, "Oh, no, no, this is please sit down for my presentation, my elevator
Yeah.
pitch about how great my thing is."
Yeah, you gotta practice the art of confident delusion, as we do it every day,
Wow. We do it
you
every
know?
day.
It's true. We're like, we are the future of sports media. Sorry. Other people are too, but we're one of them. Either get on the sports gossip train or get off, babe. Confident delusion.
It's just the amount of times when we were starting this show where we would look at each other and be like, "Are we crazy?"
Yeah. But you know what? We're right.
Mm.
Like, I'm sorry, we're
We are.
right.
We
Which
are.
helps, which
We are.
it's good. And we're very grateful to everyone who listens and watches our show. It really
Mhm.
means the world. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. Um,
Totally.
okay, on to a little fun question here. Someone asked us, what do you think the ending of Aaron Rodgers' wife storyline will be?
Okay. Oh, this is so do you have a
Okay, here's what I think. I do think he's married. I actually think he is.
really?
I think so. But it I think we will never meet this person. They will never
Mhm.
be in public. Listen, you can have a private marriage certificate, like proof, it doesn't necessarily need to be public information.
Mhm.
I do think he's married, but I think how he's handled it has been terrible from a PR standpoint. And I think he's just gone about it the completely wrong way. And he should have never said her name. I think he should have just said, I'm married, but I'm keeping it private. Like the person I married is a private figure and doesn't want to be in the public eye. So I don't know. I think he's married, but I think he's being real weird about it.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Aaron Rodgers said he was married to a woman whose name is Brittany, spelled with an I, and that's pretty much all we know, and he's worn an Aura ring as a wedding ring. I kinda don't think he's married.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't. I think that this is like an Aaron Rodgers spin zone. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I just think I think we're never gonna know, but maybe he announces that he's getting divorced or they're getting separated
That's the
before we ever
conclusion.
meet her. Yeah.
Honestly, I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. You may be right.
And
You
maybe
may
he
be right.
was, and maybe he yeah, and also I guess this sort of raises a question of, like, when does the truth what matters really?
Right.
Like, does it matter if he's married or not? Or is it more that he's being so weird about it in the first place and he might get divorced whether he was married or not? And like, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
almost like I have so many more questions. I also just keep coming back to the fact that like someone who knows her would have talked to the Daily Mail by now.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah,
I
I think
mean, maybe not, but
it's the presentation of information. You're right. That's the problem. Like how he's presented the situation is more the issue than whether he's actually married or not.
which is fascinating because, like, I would love to know, but it's so Aaron Rodgers to because that's his whole thing. Aaron Rodgers' whole thing is the presentation of information.
Yes. Yes. And presenting it in a very strange way that only an enigma could. Uh,
Only an enigma.
oh man. Okay. Some little fun questions that aren't really sports related. What is your favorite piece of carry-on luggage or travel accessory? Oh,
Oh, hello.
I love talking
Changing
about
gears.
this.
Um, okay, well, I have one that is so ridiculously expensive. It's like almost not even worth mentioning, but my husband got me this as a really, really unbelievably lovely gift. That, I probably have no business having, but I have and I love. It's a Rimawa um, aluminum carry-on?
Wait, is that how
Carry-on
you
plus?
wait, have I been pronouncing it wrong my whole life?
No. How do you pronounce it?
Rimowa. Have I been
Oh, that's
pronouncing it
probably
wrong?
it. I think it might even be Remova. It's like
What?
Loewe.
It's like Loewe. Wait, someone in our comments needs to tell us how to pronounce it. Now I'm like, "Oh my god, have I been pronouncing lots of things wrong?"
I'm not rich enough to know how to say it, but I have it.
I love that. I love that.
I'm not rich enough to know how to say it, but I'm lucky enough to have it, and it is an unbelievable suitcase. Also, I really love the brand Paravel.
Oh, yeah.
They Indre Rockefeller's company. They There's this bag that fits over the handle of any carry-on that
Oh.
is like a Mary Poppins bag. It fits more than it has any business fitting.
Wow. Okay, love that. I've seen this Remova, whatever you call
Piece
it.
of luggage.
I've seen it in person in Charlotte's apartment, and it is very nice. It looks like a very nice
It's
piece
beautiful,
of luggage.
yeah.
I love my away
Yeah.
suitcase. I've used it for years. I have every size. The carry-on's great. The big one's great. I also love this away tote that goes on top of your suitcase. That's also like a Mary Poppins bag. So I'm just an away stan. I use pretty much only away bags. Love them. Had them for
Love it.
years. Yeah.
Here's another similar question. What are your everyday pieces you wear all the time? This is also we need to plug our gift guide.
Oh yeah, our gift
Um,
guide.
there's still time to get someone a present. As we said a few weeks ago, it's our infrastructure gift guide. It's the things that keep us going
Yeah.
day to day. Sorry, my nose.
Oh yeah, I'll talk. I'll talk. Yes, our gift guide, you can see a lot of these items in there, but I love for t-shirts. I love my Buck Mason t-shirts. They're great. Any of them are good. Had them for years, love them. Or the Imogene and Willie ones, so they make them in really nice colors. Also very nice. A little more expensive, but very nice. What else do I wear a lot? Oh, I talk about this all the time, but this Gap bralette, it's like $14. It's always on sale. Sometimes it's even cheaper than that. It's in the gift guide. I cannot speak highly enough. This little bralette.
You love this thing.
I
You
own,
love
like-
this thing.
I own so many of them. I ordered more during Black Friday. I love them. I wear them all the time. Can't get enough. Not sponsored by Gap. I wish I was. Gap, if you're listening, come on the pod. My expensive piece I wear, and again, also in the gift guide, I've talked about them on this show. These pants, they're from a brand called High Sport. They are not cheap. I promise you, I get it. I understand. However, I have tried the dupes of these pants and they are not the same. Like these pants, like they hold up, they keep their shape. They're very chic for travel every day. I've worn them on long walks. Like, they're just amazing, very easy to pack, don't wrinkle. I love them. Cannot speak highly enough of them. They're very chic and they're very if you know, you know. So if you gave them to someone and they're a fashion person, they would be like, "Oh my god, this is like such a chic gift." But yes, they're
Yes.
expensive. They're expensive. So I will say that.
I think though, I think in the long run, in my sartorial life, as it were, I have saved money by buying more expensive things that last.
Yes.
And I'm being serious. Like
Yes. Yes.
even if you Klarna them or whatever, like it actually ends up like I have clothes because when I buy things from brands that fall apart, I get rid of them a
I
year
know.
later. And most of my clothes I've had between like 10, 15, and 15 and 5 years. Like I haven't bought that much stuff recently and I'm just still if you get pieces that are like I love the brand Rachel Comey because
Mm.
her stuff it fits me really well. It looks timeless while still being funky. It's very expensive, but anything I've bought, I'm still wearing 7 years later. Same with like B-side jeans. I just got a pair of frame jeans. I lied. I did buy something. I bought these frame barrel jeans. Also though, like New Balance. My New
Oh,
Balance sneakers I
oh,
wear
yes.
literally every day
Same.
of my life. Um, there are these linen t-shirts by Alex Crane that I think are for men, but that I wear all the time. And also my all-time favorite, the place that I think I actually get most of my clothes is either merch from local businesses that I like in New York or Maine or vintage stuff. Like I own maybe 5 rugby shirts from LL Bean and The Gap that I found on eBay that were maybe $20 each.
Yeah.
And they're just stuff was so much better made 20, 30 years ago that these things are just holding up. Also Patagonia.
I know, I was
Sorry.
waiting for you to say
Anything
that.
Patagonia.
Patagonia
I forgot
baggies. The
the
baggies.
Patagonia baggies.
We wear them all
I
the
don't
time.
wear it's all I wear in the summer.
Yeah.
It's it.
Yeah.
I'll
No, why
even
else
dress
would
them up. I wear them
Yeah.
with the button down and they look cool.
Yeah. The other thing I will say for some of these more expensive brands like Rachel Comey and High Sport, you can find a lot of it on the Real that has been barely used for half the price. So just
Mhm.
throwing that out there. I often will buy things, as Charlotte mentioned, secondhand that's designer on the Real or eBay or Poshmark because I know it'll last longer. And yes, it takes a little bit longer to dig, but once you know your sizes, it's very easy to find those things.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Okay. Oh, I like this question.
yes.
Which athlete power couple would you cast in a rom-com movie? There are 2 obvious answers. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce or Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen because these people are already in entertainment.
Mhm.
However, or Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd because Paige is going to be in that
Yes.
movie. I'm not fully sure how that's going to go. But I kind of feel like Jalen Hurts and Bree Burrows.
Ooh.
I don't know if they can act, but there is a energy to them that I find very compelling on camera, even though you don't see them that often. I'm always left wanting to know more or
Ooh.
wanting to see them interact with each other.
That's a good one. I think for me, I would say I would like to see Ben Shelton and Trinity Rodman in a rom-com. Ben Shelton, tennis player, Trinity Rodman, incredible soccer star. I think they would be good on camera. They have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're dating, but I think seeing them together in a rom-com would be really fun.
Wait,
What?
Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they are entertainers.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never seen them act, but the way that they are on their podcast and on broadcasts and on social media, I think they have it in them.
Yes. Oh, totally. That's a great one too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, should we end on this one?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Someone asked us, who was the Real Housewife you were in the elevator with? For those who don't recall, on an episode a few months back, Charlotte and I talked about we went to an event with InStyle and Delta at Hudson Yards. Great event. However, you take this crazy elevator up. Charlotte and I both were like nauseous. It was like vertigo. It
Not
wasn't great.
not well.
Not well. On the way down, we're in the elevator with who, Charlotte?
Oh god, we said that we were in the elevator with a Real Housewife, and we didn't say her name at the time. I think her name is Jessel.
Jessel, yes, from New York. Real
She's
Housewives of
from
New York.
the new New York one that then got canceled.
Yeah. Which I don't know, is she coming back on the new like they canceled, but I think it's coming back. I don't know.
But with new people.
Oh, are they not having any of them come back?
I don't know,
Oh.
but she got to see me. Madeline told me to hold her hand because the thing with the elevator, it had LED screens that mimicked what it looked like if there had been windows, but it wasn't windows, and I was not well, and Madeline made me close my eyes and hold her hand.
Yeah.
And everybody in the elevator looked at us when I said, "Oh God," when it started going, including Jessel.
Yeah, it was crazy though. I don't know why people weren't reacting more strongly because it was like an absurd elevator experience.
Yeah, I'm like, this is scary.
It was. It
What's
was.
wrong with you?
Oh man. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening or watching. And I just want to say, like, support podcasts from underrepresented voices in all different areas besides sports. Like, share them,
Yeah.
subscribe, comment, leave a review. Ours included, obviously, but others. It really does make a huge difference, especially when you don't have, especially if you're doing it yourself. Like, if you're independent, you're not
Yes.
part of a network. Just give people some love. Like, it really
Yeah.
makes a big difference for people.
Yeah, it really does. We're again so grateful for all of you who are listening, who have been on this ride with us. And yeah, hopefully the next time you hear from us, hopefully actually the episode before this one I wasn't sick for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you won't have been sick.
Because I will have
Yes.
done one. You're in the Galapagos right
Yeah,
now.
right now.
We're talking to ourselves from the past.
Yes. Yes. I'm in the Galapagos right now.
So,
In the future.
anyway, listen, rate, review, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Like,
Thank you all for your
subscribe.
time.
Thank you guys. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.